What is up, everybody? Jay Nell here with my UFC 232 recap video. It happened last night. I hope you saw it. It was an incredible card, despite all of the controversy from here in the Forum in Los Angeles, California. There were so many great fights and important fights on the card, and they all delivered. I haven't watched the pre-prelims yet, but I have watched the prelims up, and so far, amazing performances from so many fighters. So let's go ahead and get into it. On my original video, I made 5 predictions, but I said watch out for my Twitter and Instagram because I will be doing more predictions, and I did. 2 hours before the prelims, I did 2 predictions for the prelims, and thank goodness I did because I got both of them right, and I needed them to push me over 500. I got 4 out of 7 picks. So you gotta follow me everywhere, like I say, all the time. Now let's get into it. First, the actual prelims. I chose Megan Anderson to beat Kat Zingano, and she did in the most disappointing fashion ever. They're filling each other out for the first few seconds there, 30 seconds, and then Megan throws a high kick, which her toe goes directly into Kat Zingano's eye. Kat immediately turns around and walks away. She's done. Walks to the cage. The ref asks her if she's okay, and I think maybe she just didn't hear it, so she didn't answer. So Megan, the fight's not stopped yet. Megan knows though that something's wrong, so she throws like 2 little shots really to the body, and then the ref, because Kat just turns into the cage like, please stop, and so the ref stops the fight. We've seen pictures of it after. She has stitches in that eye. It's all red. It's cut. It's nasty. Apparently, nothing's ruptured. Nothing is ripped or torn, she said. Thank goodness. It sucks for a fight to end that way. Megan says she'll run it back immediately. Let's go ahead and make that again. Or who else would you like to see Megan fight if not running that back again? But you can't even say good win, win for Megan Anderson, though. I got that pick. Now, on to the main event of the prelims. I chose Walt Harris to beat Andre Arlovski, and he did in a split decision, which probably shouldn't even have been split. He won the first round. He basically outpointed him. He started first. He controlled the center of the octagon. He pushed the pace, all of that. There was a moment where Andre connected with a counter shot pretty hard, a stiff shot, and I think that kind of worried Walt, because Andre did win the second round. Walt allowed him to get kind of comfortable because I think he was hesitant, more cautious after being clocked with that counterpunch, and Andre managed to win that second round. This wasn't a dominating victory or anything like that, but victory over Andre Arlovski, a name for Mr. Walt Harris. So who would you like to see him fight next? Heavyweights there. Now, on to the main card. Now, I lost the first 3 picks. I was worried. First pick, or first fight of the night, and boy, did they open it up nice. They actually won fight of the night, and I lost this pick. I chose Chad Mendes to beat Alexander Volkanovski. He did not. This was a good fight, though. Actually, Chad won the first round, even though they were going back and forth. It was actually him that kind of stunned Volkanovski first. He took him down, didn't hold him down, though. He popped back up, but he does get that credit. I feel like he was initiating the exchanges in that first round. I feel like he won the first round. The second round, though, the end of it started off with Chad connecting again. Now, Alexander had a 5-inch reach advantage. So I was like, man, work that jab. And he was. He really started to work it in that second round. Although it was Chad who actually clocked him with a stiff punch and actually stunned him. And then he started going after him. Then he picked him up and actually got a takedown. Again, Alexander was able to get to the cage and get back up. Then Alexander, being scrappy as he is, he says, let's come at it, even though I'm kind of stunned. Clock. And he manages to get that jab working, and he clocks Chad Mendes hard. Chad Mendes is on the ropes now. Now he's trying to get away and fight in the chaos. But Andre, he steps back, uses that reach, and he's kind of at the end of the punches, and he is clocking Chad Mendes. It actually ends up being a shot that glances off the temple that drops Chad Mendes. Ref stops the fight. Great win for Alexander. Biggest win of his career. He is undefeated in the UFC. Who would you like to see him fight next? Exciting fighter. Now, next up, I did not get this pick. I chose Ilir Latifi to beat Corey Anderson. He did not. Corey Anderson started first. He controlled the octagon. He pushed the pace. I think he even took, yes, he did take, Ilir was trying to take him down the entire time with no success. Meanwhile, Corey landed a number of stunning, stiff shots. Ilir did have his moments, but he was on the defense. He was the one kept backpedaling the entire fight, really. Unanimous decision in favor of Corey Anderson. I completely agree. This is a good win from him. I think he's on a 3-fight winning streak now. Who would you like to see him fight next? Now, next up, I missed this pick too. I chose Carlos Condit. I was kind of hoping against hope because I believe he's like on a 4-fight losing streak now, 5, to beat Michael Chiesa coming up to the welterweight division, and he did not. But this was a chess match, baby. This was a good fight to me. Grappling chess match. They were spinning all over the. Oh, okay. So the first round, they're going at it. Michael knows I don't want to be in space with Carlos Condit, so let me get my hands on him. He immediately does push him up against the cage, takes him down. Carlos actually mounts a pretty good armbar attempt, like actually not even pretty good, pretty darn good armbar attempt that Michael Chiesa is able to get out of. But they both had their moments in that first round. That first round probably could have gone either way, but lots of crazy scrambles and Carlos going over the back and then all of the ground and you have to see it. I can't even describe it. Reversals, leg submissions, attempts to get out of positions. It was a fascinating first round, like I said, really exciting. Second round, more of the same. Michael Chiesa gets him down again. He's on top. He goes for a Kimura. And they're calling this a submission by Kimura, but he actually stretches the arm completely out. And he has it with one hand. And he's on top in side control, side guard, yes. Side control with one arm. He stretches out Carlos's arm from the Kimura position, and then he uses Condit's own body weight to press down on the shoulder. It almost looked like it probably hurt the shoulder more than the elbow. I'm not quite sure, but they're calling it a Kimura submission, and it was nasty. It was nasty. Great win from Michael Chiesa coming up to the welterweight division. Who would you like to see him fight next, and what's next for Carlos? Let me know what you think he should do, you guys. He's like, again, I think he's on a 5-fight losing streak. Oh, and Michael Chiesa immediately called out Neil Magny, which that's what you do. You come in, you make waves, and you try to direct your own career path as much as possible. You influence it as much as possible. So he called out Neil Magny, and I think that's a good call out. Now, co-main event, and I got this pick. And I told you guys it was a stupid pick. I said, if you use my advice for betting, don't use this pick. But you should have. I said I wanted to see the improbable become possible, and it did. And new UFC Women's Featherweight Champion, Miss Amanda Lioness Nunes. She won. She beat Chris Cyborg. Undefeated Chris Cyborg. Not only did she beat her in the first round. Not only in the first round, in the first minute. Not only in the first minute, complete KO. Not TKO. KO. Let's get into it. Oh my God. Okay, so they're going at it. And Chris Cyborg, of course, I think she disrespected Amanda Nunes. I think she's just used to barreling through her opponents, and she has a good chin. So she comes at Amanda swinging. Amanda took some shots too. They started going immediately, and she actually pushes Amanda back up against the cage. Her momentum's going forward. Amanda's backpedaling, but she's smooth off that backpedaling. They are in some exchanges, and in the first exchange, you can see Amanda Nunes, that traditional boxing, not only technique, but defense in this brawl with her back against the cage. She's blocking, she's moving, her head is moving while she's throwing back clean strikes, sharper strikes, quicker hand speed, and she clocks Chris Cyborg. Chris Cyborg did a little sit, boom, first time we've ever seen that. And everyone at this point is screaming from now on. The fans, the commentators, I was at the bar, everyone in the bar at this point, we are screaming. We've never seen Cyborg sat a little bit, stunned a little bit. We keep going at it. Cyborg comes back. She's like, She tries to actually just fight her way through this. But Amanda Nunes just had this sharper boxing with the clearer eyes. She clicks her with another two-piece. Oh, now she knocks Cyborg up against against the cage, and the cage is kind of aiding and abetting Cyborg and not falling down. And Amanda is clocking her. She's landing more than she's missing. It's literally two-piece up against the cage. Cyborg lunges for a takedown. Amanda Nunes backpedals, has her head with one hand, the other punch, blah, to the face while Cyborg is on her knees. Cyborg stands up, overhand right, clow, falls back up again, another two-piece overhand right, blow. Cyborg falls face first, knocked completely out. Sleep. The canvas, her face hitting the canvas wakes her back up. She gets back up on her knees pretty much immediately. But it's a KO victory. Amanda Nunes First female two-division champ, and so legitimate. And in this fashion, first woman to beat Cyborg, not by points. Even I thought if the KO came, it would come later. 51 seconds. History. Amazing. And yes, they're calling her the greatest female UFC fighter of all time. Make your case as why she is not, okay? I do think that Cyborg should get an immediate rematch. I understand that she was KO'd in 51 seconds, but I don't think she respected Amanda Nunes. The second fight, I do believe, will be different. But as I said, Amanda showcased how she's a much better, skillful striker in every way. Again, I watched those pocket sections in slow motion, and you saw Amanda slipping with her head moving, rolling. Everything that Cyborg landed, she rolled with it so it didn't land clean, man. You just saw all that skill. Amazing. Amazing. And the new. All right. So I got that pick. These last two picks saved me, and I should have bet because they were the only two picks I was going to bet on. They were both underdogs, and I got them both right. So now the main event and new UFC light heavyweight champion for the... I don't even know if you count him because he was stripped. Anyway, Mr. John Bones Jones successfully beating Alexander Gustafsson for the second time, becoming the champion, taking that vacated belt. Now, let's get into this. The first fight was a war, was one of the best fights in history. 5-round decision. I think it was even split decision, and this was not. This was clean. This ended, I believe, in the 3rd round. Let's get into it. The first round, I believe John won. He just kind of started first. And those leg kicks, again, like in the first fight, I said that you got to go back and look at the stats because the leg kicks were really kind of the difference maker, or the kicks period. Same thing in this fight. John was throwing all kinds of kicks at him: oblique kicks, inner kicks, outer leg kicks, body kicks, kicks to the head, and them kicks kept Alexander hesitant and kept him at a distance. So he was slow getting started. Alexander was. He was slow to find his range. There was a lot of filling out, a lot of testers, a lot of feints being thrown by both of them. A real mental chess match in that first round. And I just think that John got the better of that chess match in the first round, but no real damage. And Alexander, I think, might... Actually, no. I'm about to say I'm thinking of the last fight. I'm about to say he came back and got the second round. No, he didn't. John actually just simply did a little bit better. He figured out that range first. His kicks were landing more. He actually started to really dig that kick into Alexander's leg. You saw a welt start to form up in between the second and third round. So I think John probably won that second round too. However, Alexander did do better in that second round. So you know what? I've watched it 3 times, but I probably got to watch it again. But that second round, Alexander did do better. He did find his range. He did mountain offense. He did land shots in that second round, but his offensive output, which I said in my prediction video, needed to be even higher than it was in the first round, or the first fight, and it was not. It really was not. So now we're into the third round. Again, you can give John both the first 2 rounds, but I'm going to go back and look at that second round myself. But moving on, third round. John is starting to really dig in with those leg kicks. He has one that kind of really affects Alexander's movement. He did a really good job of striking while Alexander was in transition, while he was changing stances, while he was changing his defense, while he was moving in and out of the takedown attempts and all of that. So he gets a really nice timed takedown. I believe it's a single leg takedown. He takes Alexander down. And from this point, it was a thing of beauty to watch, really, how he just went step by step and took Alexander's back, basically. First, he doesn't have his back. He has him from the front. He's working. He works out of the guard. He works to the half guard, works to the side. Alexander is moving. He baits him into bad movement, and he turns the other way, and then he starts to turn him. He starts to go for a crucifix. Alexander, I think he went for the crucifix just to get Alexander to turn. He does, and eventually he gets back, and he gets that one hook in, and then he starts wailing down shots. And I believe he actually knocked Alexander Gustafsson out, because this was a KO, and you see Alexander's body because he's on the ground like this, covering up, and there's a moment where you see his body go limp. So KO, third round. And the new. As Dana White says, he has to pass the drug tests from California, and I think once we get those test results, I'll probably go ahead and drop my video about John Jones and all of this mess. As you can see, I can't even really get too excited because let's see what happens from here, right? Let's get all the information and talk about it. But Amanda Nunes, okay, history in the making. Let me know what you think about all of these fights, all injury updates, everyone's spectacular performance from so many fighters. So I do hope you took the time to see it, even if you didn't want to pay for it. I understand that. Let me know what you thought. Any updates, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, where I will have 15-second recaps. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care, and goodbye.